Check 1 2. Check check check. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Hello hello hello. Check 1 2. Hello hello. Hello. So in this video, let's talk about DB Fire. This is still probably the most meta defense that's out there. It's one of them along with 3-3 Cub, even the loop out of 3-3. So DB Fire is going to have a brutal time against a formation like this. This is one of the reasons that I decided that I wanted to run a formation like this specific one, because it does a great job against this type of defense. So when you are facing someone that's just trying to spam DB Fire, typically I like to run this with the trips to the wide side. So we want the solo wide receiver. Um, So let's talk about DB Fire 2, probably still the most meta defense that's out there. This is one of the reasons that I decided to run a formation like this, is because it does a great job against this meta defense that a lot of people are going to run, whether you're playing comp, all Madden seasons, CFM, or a lot of MUT champs. So when I am running into DB Fire, I want to run the trips to the wide side, so we want to have it we want the solo wide receiver lined up on the numbers like this. And typically, someone's going to press, and my experience is that they're usually trying to use this guy. This way they can try to shoot in against a run. And of course, someone can make adjustments. They can man this guy up. It's really hard. I'm not going to go through all of that. I'll show some different things, but just know that if you are facing DB Fire, you should be excited. We have a bunch of ways that we can deal with it. I'm going to talk about the run game first against DB Fire. The run game this year has been hit or miss. It's really 0-1 trap out of tight, offset, and now with quad father, that's what everybody's trying to run. And even at a bunch, the very popular meta run at a bunch. So the stretch out of this isn't as good as it's been in years past, but you do have a stretch and a dive in this playbook. So against DB Fire, this stretch is going to do great. So all I'm going to do is we'll press and we'll pinch the line, and then again, somebody's going to try to maybe shoot in and use it from this side. So if you're just looking at it this way, numbers wise, I mean, we have 4 blockers here. They have 3 guys, forgetting the corner on the outside, but that safety isn't even in the run fit. So just from the numbers standpoint, you should have an advantage, but we know that that doesn't really happen in Madden, especially this year. So typically, if I am running into DB Fire and I want to run stretch, now this could totally be placebo, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide protect to the right, and then I'm going to double team this defensive end. And you'll see you should have a lane to the outside of this tight end near the hashes, or you can maybe cut it up in here, or sometimes cut it back by the center. So we'll see how this blocking works. Got to be patient, and you can see we're able to pick up nice yardage there. So we'll run that again. Again, double team him. Sometimes I'll ID this guy out there. Honestly, this may do nothing. This has been debated for so long, but I do feel like it helps. So that time, we weren't able to get great blocking there. Not going to be able to cut it back if somebody's pinching the line like this. So we're really looking for that outside. That's the lane that we're looking for. Of course, you can get shed. I'm not telling you that you should be running this every rip. It's not 100%, but it is going to do a really good job keeping them honest. So I'm not going to ID. That time, I mean, that could have been a tackle for a loss if he did get a disengage. Just make sure you're not hitting sprint. Now, let's say they decide to leave it open. then you're going to have this area to cut it back. Obviously, their user could be right there, but if they are leaving it open, you have more of a chance to cut it back inside. So I'm just saying this is one of the ways that we can deal with DB fire. This way, they can't just sell out against the pass every time. That time we cut it back. We ran right into their user, but I want you to see that you can at least get 2, 3, 4 yards. You break a tackle. We're just trying to keep them honest. Now, in passing situations, again, you're probably going to look at something like this. They may hover. They may stand here. If they hover, it might be a little harder for them to shoot a run. So they might not. So this is going to be a lot of the setups that I showed earlier, but I just want to show you why this is so good. So first off, let's just set up the play. Something like this, which is what we talked about. So first off, Marcedes Lewis on the left side is going to do a really good job at blocking the slot corner blitz. And if not, if he isn't picking it up, we have ways where we can just slide protect and he will pick it up. But let's say they're hovering, doing something like that. Essentially, what's happening, if you look at this formation in the defense, we have 4 receivers matched up against literally maybe 1 or 2 guys. If this DB is obviously coming on a blitz and this guy is coming, obviously coming down on the, engaged with the offensive lineman, easy for me to say, the only guys really going to be in coverage that can do anything, it's just going to be this linebacker. This corner, for the most part, is going to play out against the ISO wide receiver, and this guy's in a deep half. So we're literally talking about one defender trying to defend 4 receivers. I mean, there's just no way they're going to be able to do that. Again, of course, someone can make adjustments, get real adjusty. Maybe they man this guy up on the running back, they man him up on the receiver, and then this guy's just going to lurk here. So somebody could do something like that, of course. But again, they'd also have to know that you're running this play. So let's just reset the play. Move him back. And again, first off, we want to look at Marcedes Lewis picking up the DB blitzing on the left. You can see there, he did a great job. We got shed a little bit there. I just wanted you to see, how he does a really good job. Picks it up, and, we're able to make a read. And even right here, you can see, I mean, we have 3 guys open. We have the wheel open. We have the flat open. Even that post, if we waited a little bit. Let's run that again. This time we'll actually blitz him. You can see we're still able to pick up that pressure. So this is why it's very hard. It's almost like, trips concepts, bunch concepts. It's very hard for your opponent to blitz off of this side. So a lot of the times if they are sending pressure off of there, maybe they'll send him to, and, they zone out this guy over here or put him. Again, you can get so adjusty, and now all of a sudden they're going to think, okay, I'm going to match. I'm going to user anybody that comes into this area. I mean, there's literally 4 receivers over there, 2 tight ends, the wide receiver, and the running back. I mean, that's going to be really hard for someone to defend. Now, could you make the wrong read and throw a pick? Absolutely. But, I mean, that's going to be something that they get very adjusty with. So, again, we'll look at it here. And, again, you can even set it up where there's even more receivers coming into the area. We can put Steve Smith on a motion slant and do something like this. Oops. So let's look at this again. Again, I'm not going to go through all sorts of different adjustments, just in terms of who they can man up. Your job, and as a player, mine as well, is to adjust. So this is the popular concept we were looking at. So we'll have the wheel flat, we'll have the drag underneath, and then we'll still have that post. So we'll look at it again. And it doesn't have to be the wheel flat concept that we've been looking at. We can do other things, but let's just see. We have the post as well. No, we don't. So let's look at this again now. Let's pretend that, they're going to hover here and they're going to man up this linebacker on the wheel. I mean, that's pretty risky. And then let's say that they're like, you know what, I'm going to use anything that comes in the middle of the field, so we'll just man him up on Kittle. We'll put him right here. Again, we know that if that is the case, we're going to have the flat open or the post. Boom, flats open quick. And we have the post. Horrible throw. I'll do that again. You can see also having Mercedes Lewis on this backside, and you can slide protect to the left if you feel like you are, if he's not doing a good job picking up the slot DB. See, he engages. Boom. So it has to be a quick throw. Again, as long as you are, if you continue to beat this blitz, whether with the stretch or with attacking that side, they're going to have a lot of problems. One of the other things you could do, and what I do a lot, you can come out with this on the short side of the field and then flip it. This way, all of their adjustments, if someone is manning up guys left and right, all of a sudden their adjustments are totally out of whack. So again, just trying to show you some of the setups that we like here. And it doesn't necessarily have to be what I'm showing you. We could do something like that. That way we know we have the trail. So I'm not going to go through all the setups, but I just want to show you that, again, if they are running DB fire, and even if they're blitzing both of these guys, I mean, that's going to be even harder for them if they're blitzing the DB and the middle linebacker over there. All of a sudden, they're going to have this one guy to defend four. That's going to be really hard to do. So let's just pretend this guy is here. Maybe they end up manning up him on Mercedes Lewis. Again, they'll roam the middle of the field with someone like that. So again, we're going to block him. And then we can do something like this too. So we'll have the streak to Hill, the wheel flat, and then we can motion snap Steve Smith. I mean, you can high point that. You can wait. Let's just look at the motion snap. So that gets into a really nice area. He has that motion where, if you snap it at a certain point, he'll almost go underneath the lineman or the tight ends. He kind of gets lost in the shuffle there. And if somebody is going to user the streak down the middle of the field, you should be able to hit that. Again, we still had the wheel. And obviously, if we block Mercedes Lewis, this nickel, the slot that was blitzing, that we manned up, all of a sudden he goes into man coverage. And you can see he ends up being manned up on the running back. But that's something that we could have hit right here and he would have been open. So a lot of different things that you can do here to deal with DB fire. I'll show you one more thing. And this is a play, different play. We'll look at curl flat seam. And we're going to do the same thing, but I want to explain why I'm showing this. Again, we'll do something like this. Now, with curl flat seam, the reason I would maybe use this if I want to run the concept I was just showing, is because this route by Taysom Hill, the inverted streak, is amazing. It does great against man. We'll look at that in a little bit, but it does really well splitting the safeties in the middle of the field because of his angle, and you can see where the route goes, and it's in between the hashes, so it won't get knocked out by deep out KOs either. So let's just look at curl flat seam against DB Fire as well. And I just want you to watch Taysom Hill's route. So you can see that because it's this inverted streak, it's going to do a better job at getting to the middle of the field and not staying closer to the hashes. So we'll avoid deep out zone KOs. And, this does very well against man. We'll look at that in a different video. But again, you could also do something like this. So you'll still have a flat over here that will pull any sort of flat defender. You'll have the slant underneath with the drag. Again, just so much you can do to attack DB Fire. I've had almost no problems against DB Fire. We have the drag early. We can wait on the slant. So just trying to give you some ideas. Feel free to kind of mess around with this yourself, but you can see the concept of what we're trying to achieve is to just create so much, so many players in this area that it's just going to be very hard for them to blitz that slot DB. Now, one more thing here against DB Fire specifically. This time we'll look at Y stick. So with Y stick, again, we'll leave it just like this. Typically, what I like to do with this play against DB Fire specifically is I'm going to put X on a corner, I'm going to put R1 on a drag, and I'm going to trail square. And the running back, that's up to you. If you want to block him, you can. I like to have him on a swing or something to the. I mean, you could motion him out as well. If you want to keep a flat defender away. Basically, the purpose of the swing is to make sure if there is any flat defender that it won't stay with the trail. So we'll just look at this quick, and again, really going to depend what their user is doing, but watch the trail on the left side. I mean, wide open in that by the numbers. Of course, somebody could run over there and user it, but you've been attacking the other side of the field so much. The trail is just super annoying. That's the thing that I really like about this formation is you have this backside tight end that you can put on a trail, which is just very annoying. So let's just do Y stick again. And it's only 2 hot routes. That's the other nice thing is you're just putting him on a trail and putting Taysom Hill on a corner. And you can see we still had the flat there. Again, this is a quick pass. If you do get time, you can hit the corner route. Obviously, we got knocked out there. But you can see we have so many options. And these trails, again, especially this outside trail to this tight end, is very annoying as a backside read. So this is how we deal with DB Fire.